So, welcome back, everyone. How was lunch? Good. You feel nourished and nutritionized?
Yes. Well,
It's a word. Not a good word, but it's a word. So, who had fun this morning? Did you guys learn some interesting things this morning in terms of the hypnotic process and so on? Hopefully, I'm sticking true to my word in terms of I'm teaching you stuff that you've already seen in some respects, whether you've been to a course before or whether you have the home study course. There shouldn't be that much which is new in terms of what we've done, but do you see it from a different perspective? Can you see it from a different angle now? Would that be fair to say? Yeah? You hopefully see a much richer detail in terms of how hypnosis works and how it's put together. So I'd like you to do that and start getting into the hypnotic language a little bit more today, because we spent some time with the mechanics and the principles, and language is a very important tool that we have because it allows us to express the principles. Does that make sense? More importantly, words will direct the mind in a way that will allow a principle to be activated or deactivated depending on what you're doing, right? So I guess the easiest way of doing this would be the fun way. So if everyone would just put your pens and papers down and stuff like that. If you have drinks and so on, please put them away somewhere safe. I recommend you put them at the edges of the room rather than under your chairs because they might get bumped. But at least put them under a chair than on a chair or next to a chair. And if you do put them on the sides, then make sure you remember which one's yours, because a lot of coffee cups look very similar. And you may like each other, in which case feel free to swap fluids, but otherwise make sure you know where yours is. So can you all put your cups to one side and make sure that it's out of the way so people don't knock it, and then stand up, please? Can you have that just over there? Otherwise, if it gets knocked into the microphone, it probably won't be such a healthy thing. Okay, what I'd like you to do is just a warm up, just get yourselves into the whole mood. We need to start being able to use language in a way that we don't think. The problem about using language on purpose is that we start thinking too much about it and it starts sounding awkward or stilted or scripted or fake. Has anyone ever here been called by a telesalesperson? Anyone ever had a phone call like that? Right? Can you tell within the first 5 seconds that this is a telesalesperson? Yes? Within the first word, right? What tips you off? Exactly, it's robotic. It's something about the voice, it's something different. The rhythm's wrong, the tone's wrong, the emphasis is wrong. It's not how normal people speak. It's not how natural people speak. And, once we start playing with the language, we can't do it in a way that isn't natural. Because then you're practicing the wrong thing. Does that make sense? So we're going to start playing with something, get yourself in a state of mind where it's almost impossible to think, which means your conscious mind is not interfering anymore. Make sense? So to do this, we're going to play an age-old favorite game. A lot of you have played with this me before. I'd like you to walk around the room. I'd like you to point at things and, with full conviction, say what they are not as though they were the thing that they're not. Right? So this is not an elephant. I hope you'll agree. This thing over here is not an elephant. So don't just go, oh, it's an elephant. Right? There's no conviction there. I need you to say it loudly, proudly, and move from object to object in a way that you don't really have time to think about it, right? So this is an elephant, this is a cartoon, this is an aeroplane. Here we have some swallows, right? Point at them, name them things that they are not, as though they were those things, and with absolute and full conviction. Make sense? Hopefully not too much. Off you go. All right, a lot of you guys are doing this. This is let me think, a priceless painting. Right? That's the wrong state of mind. We're trying to develop a mindset where you aren't having to think too much about what you are doing. So what we want is 3 things. We want conviction, we want volume, and we want you to speak before you know what's going to come out of your mouth. If you say the wrong thing and accidentally name it the right way, fine. If you say the same thing twice in a row because it just slipped out, fine. This is not about being right, it's about doing it the right way. Does that make sense? So I want to hear volume, I want to hear you guys walking around, I want to see you guys pointing. As soon as one thing's out of your mouth, you're already pointing at something else and forcing yourself to go that a little bit faster than your brain can keep up with. Does that make sense? Off you go. Whatever it is you've just been doing, to kind of get that pace going, get that volume up. Did you notice how the room got louder? Yes? Yes. That's because you're doing it the right way. Did you notice how your brain feels like someone's put a spanner into the works and it won't quite spin the right way? Did everyone notice that? Right? You want that because at that point, the only part of you that can respond is your unconscious. And that's the part that we need to respond. Is it not? Would that be fair to say?